but it's nice to meet you, baby girl.
Oh gosh. Hi Saints, welcome or welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I just need to talk about this film because it was the wildest thing I've ever seen. Well, not wildest, it was the funniest thing I've ever fucking experienced because there's no way this movie isn't a comedy. It has to be. It has to be. There's no way the writers, directors, the actors themselves took any part of this film seriously and expected us to take any part of it seriously. There was no plot. The entire movie was holding on by a silver of a thread of a plot. The only prospects that it had going for it were amazing, beautiful looking, model looking actors who can't act. A great soundtrack, not even great, it was a subpar soundtrack, and I guess pretty decent scenery. It was horrible, but I had to really sit there and come to terms with the fact that there's no way this film was meant to be taken seriously.
And now, I want you to fuck me the way you like.
Because there's no way anybody would genuinely sit there through 1 hour and 53 minutes of nothing. I was waiting for something and I got nothing throughout my entire experience. I have tea as always. I've come to realize that I have tea in like all of my videos. So I might do a series on my channel called Movie Tea or Tea Movies. I don't know. Rough titles. Something like that, something along the lines of that, because I like watching films, I like watching television shows, I love being entertained, and I love drinking tea. Like, those two things keep me going. This movie is a sequel to a popular Netflix, I don't think it was even a Netflix original, but it's a sequel to a popular film that was all the rave last year, I believe, and it's called 365 Days. And honestly, there weren't much of a plot in the first one either, but I can say for a fact there was more of a plot in the first film than there was in the second one. If I could describe this movie, I would say that it's a satire based film that relies heavily on music and comedy. I don't believe this film was ever made to be taken seriously. I can't take it seriously because after what I just experienced like 1 hour ago, it didn't feel real. So I had to talk about it. So what I distinctively remember about the very first film is that one, it was problematic, and two, the plot revolved around a kidnapping. So basically a girl is kidnapped, and then she's kidnapped by a mafia boss or a mob leader, and she's basically told that she has 365 days to fall in love with him, which, trash, yes. She's the victim. She suffers through Stockholm syndrome. And then in the middle of her debating whether or not she's going to die, they'll like all of a sudden play some pop song. I think that it was even sang by the actors too. I think the actors did all of the work on the show, on the film, because that's what it was giving. I don't even remember much of the plot beyond that. I think they, at one point, she leaves him or something. Like, there's a rival family, there's shootings, she leaves him, she gets into an accident, and then they slap this terrible blonde wig on her. I definitely remember that. They slapped this terrible blonde wig on her, and then she gets into this horrible accident, and I think it ended there, where she's in the accident in the tunnel, and we're left debating whether or not she's alive. And I believe he proposed at the end of that film too, but I don't remember. Anyways, on to today's video. So 365 Days, this day, is the sequel to that movie, and can I just say, it's really something. It just felt so jarring. None of the scenes made sense. It didn't flow coherently. It was just a jumbled mess. Like, literally the beginning opening scene, They don't even give us 2 minutes to process what's going on, and all of a sudden they're fucking on the table, and she has that blonde wig again still, but then 5 minutes later she doesn't have it anymore, and all of a sudden it's the official start of their actual honeymoon. Like, they get married in like 3 minutes, and then it's the official start of their honeymoon, and then for like 30 minutes straight in the entire movie, for 30 minutes straight, the entire movie, all they do is just have sex like rabbits. In the first film I was like, yeah, oh my gosh, wow. But in this one I was just so bored. Like, I was curling my hair, I was making food, I made tea during it. Like, it was just so the same over and over again. Laura all of a sudden wants to take charge. Like, this girl is so stupid. Like, there's so many things about her that she needs counseling. It's like they are almost aware of the things that are wrong about their film, because there's definitely this one moment where she's talking to Massimo, and she's like, oh, I know you took me, the way our relationship started was almost sick because you kidnapped me, but I want you to know that I fell in love, and now everything we do moving forward will be with consent, will be because I said so.
I know that our beginnings were quite rough, or more like sick. You've kidnapped me, and this is sick. But I fell in love with you, and we are together because I decided. You cannot control people, and I won't let you control me.
Y'all buying this? Who buying this? Are we buying this? I'm not buying this. Raise your hand if you're buying this. I don't know, it was just so strange. It was just so jarring, like the way they addressed it. And then Massimo is, I just don't know what's going on. He's meant to be a mob boss, but apparently he has all the time in the world. Like, don't you have more business you should be handling? And at least if you're going to be a mob boss, be cool, be interesting, be an actual gangster, shows us the ins and outs, the inner workings. I don't know what this man does. Like, besides his title being a mob boss, like, what do you do? Like, do you sell drugs, or are you just violent with no reason? Where are your prospects? How do you get your money? Let a girl know. Like, even Laura at one point is almost bored because she's like, I have nothing to do, and then she has this one friend where all they do is hang out. Even the side characters are fucking 24/7. So she has a friend, and her friend is supposed to be her best friend, and then her friend is also in love with a guy who's also in the mafia, and then they're together. And I don't know, I don't get the point of them being even in the movie. All they're there for is like a subplot. It's not really a subplot, where all they do is have sex and occasionally express concern about Laura and Massimo's relationship. They serve no purpose. The acting is so bad. I can't get over the acting. And they say it with like the straightest of faces.
How do I look like?
Like the first time, baby.
It will be a perfect honeymoon, husband.
American Eye needs to focus on work. Of course, when he's wearing a normal suit and not... Where is that, a cake or something?
You tried. You tried. I love that you tried. I very much appreciate that you tried. This one scene in particular, that made me bust out laughing, because I was like, there's no way. They're not gonna take it there. And then they did, in slow motion with the music. I thought I was watching a music video throughout this entire film. I'm not going to even lie. Anyways, it goes on. They go through their whole honeymoon phase. There's like 55 minutes of just filler. Nothing has been happening. There's not even a single movement of the plot. Nothing has occurred until finally there's this scene where they're at a ballroom, and she's looking up at the staircase, and then she sees Massimo, I don't know. She sees her husband go off with some girl. She follows him, and you know, obviously concerned, like, what the heck is going on? Why are you with some girl? And then she goes, and then she sees them in the room with her, and then they're freaking having sex, and she's so shocked, and she's like, instead of saying something, because you catch them in the act, like the woman is literally looking at her, you catch them in the act, you would think the logical thing to do is be like, what the hell is going on, you know? But no, she just storms off, she leaves. Oh, I have to mention, she meets a gardener, and his name is Nacho, and the way he appears out of the jungle, out of nowhere, in slow motion, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Who is this? And she's on her way to leave the estate, and then he pulls up in a car. Nacho pulls up in a car. He's so concerned about her. He's like, oh my god, are you okay? And she's like, oh my god, take me anywhere. And he takes her somewhere, and then they pull along the side of a cliff, and then she gets out of the car, and then she calls her mom, and then it goes straight to like the ringer, like voicemail or something, and she leaves a voicemail for her mom saying, I'm never returning, you were right about Macismo, he's just the absolute worst. And she throws her phone. Gosh, it's like she has no sense of self-preservation at all. Like, you're about to leave with a stranger, you throw your phone. Weren't you just kidnapped in the last movie? You would think she has some type of PTSD where she cares about her life. I genuinely don't care if she thinks this woman cares about her life at all, because she goes off with the stranger, and then he takes her to this lavish house. My thing is, as soon as I went to this lavish house, first of all, he has a great car, a lavish house, and he's supposedly just a gardener. I would start asking questions. That's the logical thing to do. Like, how do you afford all of this? You know, how can you take? She has no belongings whatsoever. Like, this girl, this woman don't care about her life, and she expects us to. Oh my gosh. Basically, she stays with him, and it's like a vacation. It's a whole moment. And then we start seeing that it wasn't actually Macismo that was with the woman. It was Macismo's twin. Macismo has a fucking twin, and the twin speaks in this weird accent and has these weird mannerisms.
But I think that you have to wait a little longer.
And I know it's played by the same actor, but I'm just like, what?
I'm happy to spend a little time with my new sister-in-law, you know, and have a little chat with her.
I don't know if he's supposed to be creepy or like conniving, or is he supposed to be sleazy? I feel like the actor in himself was conflicted on what he's supposed to do to change the way his mannerisms are. They pop one blue contact in this man's eyes, and they're like, oh my god, that's his twin, and they're totally different. I'm like, no. So the woman that slept with Macismo's twin in order to get Laura to run off is speaking with Macismo, and he's like, oh my god, like, now I understand why she ran off. I feel like you're somehow involved. He has yet to actually figure out whether or not his twin is back in town or something like that. It's just so convoluted and makes no freaking sense. What I tell you, there's no plot, and the plot that they have is in hell. The bar for this plot is so far down, I couldn't even see it. I was squinting. I was trying to read between the lines while also hearing the jarring music coming out of fucking nowhere. Like, they don't even build the music, it just comes in and out. Anyways, he starts figuring that out. The moms get angry that Macismo, you know, Laura's gone. Rightfully so. She goes and confronts him.
If my daughter decided to leave you, she has a damn good reason for it. We are going back to Poland. We'll wait for her to come home. My husband is already in the car. Don't try to stop me.
So fucking hilarious. Nobody in this film can act. Nobody. I just feel like if you have an hour and 53 minutes, at least have one person that can even remotely act, like even a little bit, like even a tiny bit, like even a sliver bit, so we could say for a fact you at least tried. Anyways, she storms off, she gets into the car, she leaves or whatever. She's like, don't follow me, you're a scum of the earth. Everybody's kind of upset with Macismo because where is Laura? Why is Laura not here. Meanwhile, Laura's having the time of her life with Nacho, who, granted, is fine as hell. This man. I mean, just look at the material. Anyways, he is so fine, but like their dialogue, first of all, the dialogue alone in this entire film is like 3 lines and then sex and then a music video and then more lines that are like cut and makes no sense. Like, look at this interaction alone.
I can say that this one is different that I used to drink.
Or maybe this one guy is just different from the ones you had before.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What did that mean? Anyways, they're having the time of their lives. Meanwhile, she's just conversating with him, and you can tell clearly there's an attraction there. And then she meets his sister, and then his sister is basically like, I hope you guys have something going on. Oh my god, why wouldn't you?
There is something between you two, I hope.
None of this is making sense. She's basically on vacation with the gardener. And then she doesn't start asking questions until like the film is almost over, when all of a sudden people break into his house with no explanation. He almost kills a guy, and I think he kills another person. And she witnesses it, and then she finally, it's like, oh my god, like you killed someone. And he's like, unfortunately he's not dead or something like that. She has yet to ask any questions. Like, you would think at some point you would be like, okay, not only if this supposed gardener have so much money, but also he just killed a person, he seems to be well off. There's things that aren't correlating with what he's telling me. He's not telling me the full truth. And then finally, I think during one scene where she's like, oh my god, you nice house or something like that, he finally reveals to her that his dad is rich. You would think she would finally be like, okay, who's your dad? Like, it's very sketchy. I was like, oh, clearly he's part of some type of mob family or some shit. Sismo is trying to figure out what the heck is going on. The brother has this convoluted plan, I don't know, to kill Laura. I don't know what their plan was. It's so idiotic. They're all so stupid. Finally, it's revealed towards the end of the film that Nacho's dad do you guys hear how stupid this shit sounds? It's finally revealed at the end of the film that Nacho's dad is Nacho's dad is the father of a rival mafia family of Masismo. Like, they're rivals or some shit like that. And then they take her and they're like gonna take her somewhere or whatever, and Masismo and the dad is having a conversation about who should be in power. And then Nacho walks in, and then the dad reveals that Laura is with them, but with a bodyguard that he trusts. But then Nacho is like, oh no, she's with a different bodyguard. And then the father is like, oh my god, you guys gotta go get her because that's not the bodyguard I assigned to her. Shit goes down, something like that. It turns out Laura has been kidnapped. Well, basically, that's all she does. All she does is get kidnapped and put herself in situations that could have been easily avoided. Oh my gosh, this girl is so stupid. Anyway, she's standing there in this empty cathedral. I don't know where she's at. And then someone that clearly looks like Masismo is walking up upon her, head down, all, I don't know, with this weird accent. And then she thinks it's him, but then he looks up and she sees that he has one contact that's blue. When I tell you, you can see the stark difference that in the fact that this man has contacts in. And she's like, oh my god, you're not Masismo. Masismo and Nacho take the longest time to get to her. When I tell you, they could have started running, but no, they start walking in fucking slow motion. And then two, Masismo didn't even have a gun until Nacho gave him a gun. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be a gangster? What the fuck is going on? And then they finally get to her, and this other woman that was sleeping with Masismo's twin pulls up, and she has a gun, and then it's like a standoff, and Laura's in the middle. And then she gets shot. Like, everybody gets shot in slow motion in the weirdest moment ever. Nacho looks at Masismo and just leaves, and then Laura's on the floor dying. And then the music comes in again, and then it just fades to black. no one can convince me that this film, that what I just watched was not a comedy. You know, actually, I feel like, let me put my like critical thinking hat on. I feel like realistically they could have made this entire trilogy or duology. I don't know. I think there's gonna be a third film. Clearly, there's gonna be a third film because in the first film, Laura almost died, and then we got a sequel. In this one, she almost died again, and we're probably gonna get another film. So I feel like realistically, they could have made this movie way deeper by making it a satire comedy on the entire genre because they seem to be very self-aware of the fact that this is a trash film. Well, not necessarily that it's a trash film, not self-aware in that aspect, but they seem to be self-aware about the problematic components of their film. So you would think realistically, you know, they would take jabs at it, make it funny, but they take themselves way too seriously, and we're supposed to, when none of these characters can act, their actions don't make any sense. You don't want to root for these people. They're just the absolute worst, and it's funny, like everything they do is funny when we're supposed to be taking them seriously. All I can say is I hope these actors are laughing their way to the bank. Like, yes, we did it again. We did it fucking again. Because clearly somebody's gonna watch it. So I would like to reiterate that I might start doing more like movie reviews while sipping tea and just having a laugh. I don't like to do too many serious videos. So if you guys want more of that, let me know. Yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you're having an amazing day, evening, or night, wherever you are. I hope the vibes are good. Bye.